All right, so my name's Dion with Systems Northwest. We did the fire alarm here at the Mammoth Hotel. What you have is an upgrade from what you previously had was an AFP 200 panel. You now have a Notifier NFS 2640, just a little bit bigger for the amount of devices we're going to be adding through the second phase of the hotel. As far as your smoke detectors, pole stations, all that stuff is as it was before. Just a few more notification devices to let the occupants know what's going on. The new panel resides in the comm room downstairs in the basement with two annunciators, one at the registration desk and one at the bellhop. So it gives you two fairly quick locations to see what's going on with the system without having to run all the way down to the basement. Right now, we're kind of in between two phases to where all new devicing we have through the lobby, the map room, and then there will be up here in the second floor. And then we have still the old portion of the hotel with all the rooms is still operating on all those old devices and as they were before. What I mean by as they were before is pre-signal delay. And what that is if there is an alarm anywhere in the building from a smoke detector, a heat detector, and someone acknowledges it within 15 seconds, you have 3 minutes to go figure out whether it's a true alarm or it's someone that burnt popcorn, and then try and get it clear within that 3 minutes. So after that 3 minutes, the panel enunciates all the horns and strobes, everything goes off, doors shut, air handlers shut down. So it gives you a little bit of time to figure out what's going on and try and prevent some of those nuisance alarms. But someone has to hit that acknowledge button within that first 15 seconds, because if it doesn't get hit, then it automatically rolls right into a full-blown alarm. Does that make kind of sense? You guys used to those features? So that's kind of the basis of the panel. There's no new, probably the new device would be we have a duct detector up above the conference room, up above the map room. Would be about the only new device that you wouldn't have had here prior. But still smoke detectors, heat detectors, and pole stations throughout the building. So if you guys don't have any questions, we can go start at the panel, show you where that's at, and work our way to the other enunciators and through the door holders and how that's kind of wired in, and then answer any questions that you guys have. I mean, it's as far as the functionality, the acknowledge, signal silence, reset, all those same protocols are as they were before with the old panel. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Brad, that you guys just can acknowledge, but once it goes into alarm, the fire department takes care of the rest of it. So once we're at that point, there's not a whole lot to show you guys. Once you start hearing the horns and stuff go off, you just evacuate like everybody else. So if you don't have any questions, we'll go ahead and head downstairs to the panel. All right, so here's the new panel and the panel location. This is a 640 panel. It looks and is exactly the same panel wise as a 320, just the 320's bigger brother. What we have here too is the integration with the old side of the building. So all the old horns and door holders, as we found out, are also coming off of this power supply, and this is all just temporary until that phase 2 portion comes into play. But if you have any problems, it'll all report here. And as you can see, we have a smoke photo ski shop hall trouble. It's an invalid reply. And if you were close enough to see it, you can see that it gives you the description, gives you what the trouble is, time and date that trouble came in, and then over in the far corner, it gives you the device address. So we provide 3 ways really to find out where the device is located. So we have the description, so we know it's the ski shop hallway. We've labeled the device with its address within the system. So if you look on the detectors around here, you'll say L1 detector 1, 2, 3, and in this case it'll say detector 9. So that's the second way. And then the third way is if this was a full-blown alarm, the LEDs on that device would go a solid red color, letting you know that that's the actual device of activation.
I just want these guys to see exactly where it shows you where the...
Sure, yeah, if you guys want to take a second and kind of take a peek.
When I'm talking to them on the phone...
So it tells you, yeah, we have a trouble, that it's a smoke detector in the ski shop hall.
Okay.
The trouble that it's saying is is an invalid reply, so it's not seeing the detector for some reason. It gives you a timestamp of when it came in.
Okay.
And then it gives you the device address. So at the device, it's not going to say ski shop hall, but it'll say detector 9. So the ski shop hall gets you to there, and then the device address will tell you exactly what.
We give you over the phone, and you can tell us what.
The important one is the address, what it says, and then that bottom right corner where it says detector
right here.
number 9.
Okay.
They're all labeled, so
Okay.
if you got to go look for one to pull it out and clean it or anything, if I'm not around, that tells you exactly what detector you need to find.
Or just unplug it till you
Whatever you gotta do.
Know which one it is.
Yeah.
And so right now that one signifies loop 1, and once we get the hotel cut over, and actually the hotel of any of those devices right now, if they were to go on alarm, it'll say 2 instead of 1, letting you know that's coming off of the second loop card of the panel. All the new devices right now are on loop 1. All the old stuff is on loop 2 to keep them separated. And so that's another point. So just the 1 or a 2 in that spot. And then that'll help kind of signify that, let them know that it's going to be part of the hotel rooms or the new construction. So that one might not be labeled. We haven't turned over the basement yet.
It does actually.
Does it?
I can't D0 something.
So we haven't quite turned over the basement or the office space yet.
5.
And that's supposed to be done at the end of this month. So that's detector 5. So if we were to pull that one down, or it went into alarm, so you have that 3 points. You have the label, the address, and if that detector was an alarm, those blinking green lights would be a solid red color. So with those 3 points, hopefully we can get you to the right place. Because a perfect example is in the main lobby. There are 6 detectors. And if I say, you know, lobby center south, lobby center north, some people are backwards and east and west is backwards. So a lot of times I'll just label it lobby, main lobby. And there'll be 6 of them that say main lobby, but they'll each have a different address, and then whichever one is in alarm will be the one. So I'll get you to the area, and then we're just going to kind of process elimination from there, which one they are. Those ones a little bit higher. I try to get bigger stickers on those to see the labels. But kind of what I was explaining to them earlier too, we have the pre-signal delay, which is if the room smoke, the hallway smokes over in the hotel go off, or the lobby smoke detectors go off. If the panel's acknowledged within the first 15 seconds, there's a 3-second delay. So, or I'm not, sorry, not 3 second, but a 3-minute delay that allows the bellhop or whoever's in charge of going to verify the alarm can go verify it. And if it is, you know, burnt popcorn or whatever it is, and then if that 3 minutes expires without the panel getting reset and the device being cleared, then it goes into a full-blown alarm. If they go and they acknowledge that it is a full-blown alarm and they need to activate it right away, they can go to any pole station anywhere, and a pole station activates automatically. Got that?
That man, that's all.
An enunciator
Yes.
of his panel.
So once we get kind of done here, we'll go over to the sprinkler tree, kind of show a little bit of that. The sprinkler guys will kind of do more of the functionality of it. We'll just kind of show how we're connected to it, and then we'll go up to one of the enunciators. Yeah, it's probably better that way.
Like
Turning valves and shutting stuff off. So,
Middle of the night.
Any questions?
Then we call and wonder what's wrong.
so I guess the other thing would be kind of identifying the buttons. This panel is pretty straightforward. Acknowledge, signal silence, system reset, drill, and then this is just a lamp test button that you hold to make sure that all the lights are working on the deal. The drill button, you guys don't really run fire drills, but it's there to, if you had fire drill, say at a school, something like that, you can just hold that button down for 2 seconds and it enunciates the full-blown alarm. It's another way that if you wanted to quickly do an alarm condition and evacuate the building, you could push it. It doesn't send the signal to the monitoring, so it's not good in that sense. That's why it's better to pull a pull station. And then really you guys are more concerned with just the acknowledge, because then once that alarm's going, the fire department takes care of the signal silence and the reset for liability purposes. Because you know, once you hit that signal silence, a lot of people hit signal silence to make the panel go quiet. The problem with that is you are shutting off the horns to the building. Now you become liable for everybody in the building. So acknowledge makes the panel go quiet, has no effect on any horn strobes, nothing else. It just makes, it's a local acknowledgement that, okay, whether it's a trouble or a fire alarm or a supervisory, you're just giving it a local knowledge, okay, I know that you're there.
Yeah, you can acknowledge anything.
And that's, like I said, whether it's here or at the enunciators, that's the button that you guys want to press. You want to stay away from having people hit the signal silence. Troubles, they are self-restorable. So if it's an AC fail, let's say, once power is restored, that trouble will clear. If I were to pull that detector head down, I would get a trouble on the panel. I can acknowledge it. I clean it out, do whatever I got to do. I put it back in place. It self-restores. Once it sees it back in the system and says, okay, you're clean, you're good, it self-restores, so you don't have to hit reset. It's a non-latching condition. Supervisories are also non-latching, so a low air condition, if it keeps coming in as a low air from the sprinkler system, because we monitor that, as the compressor picks the air pressure back up, it'll clear it. If you come in and keep hitting reset, trying to get it to clear, it'll reset and do what's called the system initialization, and it'll go back, check all the devices again, and it'll still see it's in trouble, and come right back into trouble, and come right back into trouble, and come right back into trouble. If you have a trouble, just hit the acknowledge, let Brad and his staff know. A lot of times they'll know what it is and they come out and fix it fairly quickly, or they'll let you know that it's a low air condition. Let's see if the compressor picks it back up here in the next couple minutes. Otherwise, we'll get over there and see what's going on. We might have a leak somewhere. Any other questions?
Scroll, if there's multiple events on there.
So if we have more than, right now, we have 2 lines of display, 80 characters. The acknowledge button is also your scroll button. So the panel by itself will scroll, I think it's every 10 seconds. It'll scroll if there's multiple events on there. But if you want to see through it faster, the acknowledge button is also your scroll button. So every time you push it, it scrolls to the next event that's in line. So if you've got 10 events, you want to get to the last one, you're going to be hitting the scroll button 10 times to see what's going on. If a wire got disconnected and you got a string of detectors that are in alarm or in trouble, you use that scroll button to see what the next event is and what the next event is.
Your example, like now with the trouble on there, and say we get a low air, and I call you and say, hey, I got a low air, can you go check it? And you come over and look, and you're seeing the trouble in the detector.
Oh, scrolls.
You have to scroll.
Scroll to see it,
Or wait, but
yeah.
it's easier.
Yeah, so and it kind of some of the definitions, those LED lights, little lights that we have here, yeah, fire alarm, that'll be a solid red color, and you're going to know that that's alarm because you're going to have bells and whistles going off. Pre-alarm is telling you that the detector is within that 90% threshold that says, I can't compensate, so either I'm really, really dirty and you haven't cleaned me, or I've got just enough smoke in me that's I'm about ready to go alarm. If you can come figure out what's going on first before I go into alarm, the better off we'll all be. And it'll tell you the exact same thing, pre-alarm, what detector it is, where it's at, and then the description of what it is. And then that'll be a red light. The security is a blue light. We don't have anything tied to it, but say if you had a hold up button at the front registration, we could send a signal to the prior panel and then report out that way. Supervisory is also lit, and that is an amber light, and that'll follow suit with your troubles as well. Those will be amber lights. So when he calls and says, hey, I got a low air condition, and you're like, I'm looking at it, well, I just see a ski hall trouble. If there is a supervisory condition in which a low air is, or someone's closed a tamper valve, that's another supervisory condition, that light will be also on. So you know that you have more than one event. A smoke detector will be either an alarm or a trouble or a pre-alarm. Those will be your events for those. And then a pull station, once it's activated, it's an alarm. So that's another way to identify that I might have more than one trouble or one condition on the panel, is by looking at what lights you have here. As soon as you hit that signal silence button, the signal silence light comes on, let you know that someone's shut off or disabled all the horns. If Brad had a point disabled, they're doing some construction in an area, instead of having it come in and afraid of it might be going off, when they come in and do their testing, they disable points, so that kind of shuts off all the horn circuits, so they can kind of quietly do some testing. That light will be lit, let you know that points are disabled within the system. Every 24 hours, so if this trouble came in yesterday, every 24 hours at about 11 o'clock, the panel will start beeping again. And all it's saying is, I just need you to acknowledge me, letting you know that I'm still here, I'm still in trouble. But if you acknowledge me, then you're taking responsibility that you still know I'm in trouble. And it's roughly about 11 o'clock is when that 24-hour clock kicks in every day.
So if you just hit acknowledge.
So you just hit acknowledge,
it'll
it'll be good again for 24 hours, and then the next 24 hours it'll come back.
And hit acknowledge and wait for you.
Right. So if Brad's at the south end of the park and he's got all kinds of problems, and it takes him 2 days to get here, that middle of that second day, you're probably going to have to hit acknowledge again, because they're going to be beeping at you.
And the front desk will usually take care of that.
Yeah.
Somebody starts beeping, they acknowledge.
Right. We have the panels labeled with the comm center number, the account number with the comm center, and then we also have what breaker number and where it's at and then we're on the UPS backup here. So with the AC fails on that, we automatically convert over to the battery backup.
There that says fire.
Yep. And in the breaker panel, it's got that red sticker right next to the breaker.
And the supervisories will call me and let me know. The troubles will not. So I always stress to anyone at the front desk or anyone who's acknowledging that a phone call to my office should accompany anytime they hit acknowledge.
Yeah.
So you don't get troubles at all anywhere, or
We do
just
now.
here?
A lot of comm center forwards them to me
Okay.
when they get them.
I say, because right now we're just tied in temporarily to the radionics until we kind of complete the phase, and then we'll have our own dialer in here, of which then we can send out better trouble signals instead of just a general alarm, general trouble, and general survey.
And the only reason I say to call me or someone in my
Just to make sure that,
we may be in the park and we get hit on the way back.
right, instead of waiting till the next
Till the
day.
next morning when we get in and look at it, and we get so many sometimes we don't even get through them all in a day.
Okay. Well, that's all I got for here, unless you guys got any questions.
So is this tied to the wing now? Correct?
Yeah, the monitors the wing.
Yeah.
It's still the old stuff, but it's still good. That's what he's saying is on loop 2.
Yes.
So we kind of have a separation within the cards. all those smoke detectors are monitored. It'll say whatever it said before. We use the same descriptions that were in there before.
Oh,
It'll say haul by room 119. And then we put all the paperwork for everything in here. So it has the old panel program. And once we're completely done, we'll have the new panel program in here. Yeah, so the old description says second floor near room 203. That's what it was before, that's what it is now. And when that next phase comes through, we'll have detectors in the rooms. We'll have a lot more detection over there.
Yeah, 'cause there's none now.
Right, it's just in the corridors.
The hallway.
Yes. Yep. Okay, so I just want to touch base real quick on the sprinkler tree. The sprinkler company will take care of all these knobs and dials and gauges. I'll just kind of talk about how we're tied to the fire alarm. We have a monitor module, as you can see throughout, that tied to everything on the tree. So if a tamper's closed, that lets the monitor module know. And being that we're already in trouble, I'm going to go ahead and do a slight little close on this guy. Goes up a solid red, letting you know that the system's been activated. As soon as I open it back up, it's self-clearing and clears itself. And you kind of heard the panel a little bit. It beeped, but as soon as the device went clear. So over at there, at the panel, it's going to tell you lobby riser, tamper, loop 1, M002. So it tells you which one it is, where it's at, and what's going on. We kind of have the second tree here. This is all just capped off. This is just kind of a precursor for the second phase project. So this 6-inch that goes all the way over is capped off just underneath the hotel. So none of these are doing anything at the current moment. That's why they don't blink, they don't have covers. They're not even addressed. Yeah, all the gauges are at 0. The other things that we monitor on this sprinkler tree are the low air, and on the back side here there's a water flow switch that we monitor. The way the system works is it takes a low air condition. So low air means that more than likely, hopefully, it's just a sprinkler head that's actually popped and gone off. It takes that condition plus a detector in the area, so it's called a double interlock. So it takes those two events to try and prevent unneeded water flow for the panel to then go ahead and activate the solenoid here to release the water. That's about the gist of what we're tied into and how it works. But if you came in here and one of these lights is red, then you know that tamper valve is closed. And we tried to get it fairly lined up to what it's associated with. So this one is the tamper. Down here we have a water flow, so it's in reference to this tree. And then we also have our low air, which also is in reference to this part of the sprinkler tree. And then over here is the control module that fires the solenoid for this sprinkler tree. So what will happen, being that it's two separate systems, we wouldn't want a low air condition in the hotel to release water on the lobby. There's no need for it. The alarm's not there. So we'll have the building split up. So any of the detectors over there will only release the water for that low air side. And then vice versa for the lobby, map room, conference room, all the new portion there. Anything over there isn't going to release water to the hotel side. But every tamper, we got 2 here, over there we got a couple backflows. Any one of them close, the light associated to it, the module associated to it will be red. Like I said, and they're all labeled. So that's it for here. Okay, so what we have here is just your local annunciator. At this location we have 2 of them. One is where we're at now at the little bellhop station, and then the other one resides back behind the registration. They give you all the same information as what is at the fire panel. It's just a more convenient location for you as you come up on site. It's right here at the front entry. None of the buttons work unless you have the key. So if you're trying to acknowledge it and you're yelling at Brad, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't work unless you have a key and it's turned into the activate position, which is just a simple turn to the right. There's a little arrow at the top telling you which way that key turns. See if yours works. That's the right one. So now, by doing that, we have control of the buttons here. And we have the same buttons that we did downstairs. We have the acknowledge, silence, signal silence, drill button, and then your reset. Again, the only one that you guys are really going to be considered about is the acknowledge. And this is also your scroll button. So if you were to hit the acknowledge and scroll and we had multiple events here, it would come up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the reset button just to kind of show you. Comes up system reset, tells you what time it reset. We've got an invalid reply. We'll acknowledge. We have that system initialization that we talked about. And what that is, that's just the system going out and double checking all the devices again. As soon as that's done, making a beep over there. So when it's all said and done, we should have our ski hall still left there.
You unhook one or cover one?
I honestly don't know. When I came in here, that's what was there. So.
The contractors had a leak and they flooded that detector.
Oh, okay.
So we pulled it out and got everything fixed.
That's news to me. So,
Okay.
so I guess we got to put a new detector in there. But that's why that, for example, someone pulled it out.
It's working.
We know why it's out. So
These buttons here actually do the same thing, really, as the one, big one downstairs.
absolutely, this just gives you a more convenient location. So if they wake you up at 2 a.m. want you to come on site, you don't have to make your way to the basement. You can come right in the front door, see what's going on, and go right over to the ski shop instead of making your way downstairs, come back up, and then over to the ski station or wherever the alarm
So
is.
this is not at the front desk?
No, this is. So this, you have two of them
Two,
here.
okay.
You have this one, and then you have one right next to the registration. So Brad just got a look because we were making it beep.
Okay.
But the buttons don't work unless that key is in there to activate it. So right now, the one behind the registration, she has the key in it, so she can turn it and just hit the acknowledge. We left the key out of this one up here because it's more in a public space. We don't want people messing with things. So as long as you guys got the keys, I've got a gazillion of them. If you need more, we can always get you.
Give us some more to start spreading around with all
Yep,
these new systems.
we'll give you plenty of more. So
I guess I was confused with,
625?
yeah, the 625.
that was the old one that was here.
Panels in the old panels.
Yeah, which we still have down in the drive out panels.
Right. So the 625 used to open the old panel here,
Yeah.
but it's going to be the 1701
1701.
21.
The same thing that works in Juniper for that new panel.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So that's my spiel. Like I said, most of your guys' sequence of operations just requires you to hit the acknowledge and then turn it over to the fire department. So we wouldn't want to change any of that. It's a good understanding though to make sure with your staff that they don't hit the silence to make this thing go quiet. Because if they get in the habit of that and the horns are going off, by pressing that, they're silencing the horns. The only thing that all the horns are silenceable by pressing that, except for if there actually is a water flow condition. So what's happened in a water flow condition is that we had a smoke detector go off, then we had a sprinkler head go off, and we got a low air. So now we charge the system with water, and now we got water flowing. So the system by default says water's flowing somewhere in the building. You can't silence me because it's too late. You got to get out of the building. Let the system take care of it, and the firefighters take care of it from there. So if you're in the event that you get pipe broke, you know, and the stars aligned and someone walked out and decided they wanted to pull a pull station on the way out, and we have that same condition, and you're freaking out because you know it's supposed to be quiet, it's not going to silence until that water flow is cleared. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Well, that's all I got.